Welcome to the 2024 edition of the Engine Performance Expo. I'm Joe Castello along with Lake Speed Jr. and we are about to embark on a journey, high performance, engine technology, machining, machinists, some of the greats of the industry are all right here, Lake.
Oh yeah, you know, it's like the Chinese New Year doesn't come on the Roman calendar. This is like the New Year for the engine building world. This is it, man. The Engine Performance Expo is an annual event, we can call it now, right?
Yes.
After all these years, this is the 5th one in 4 years.
That's amazing that we've done this 5 times, or we've done it 4 and this is the 5th, regardless. And people are beginning to rely upon it, right? It's the start of the year. We go to the expo.
Yeah, and the thing is, it takes a whole year to put this together because we go all over the place. Over the next 2 days and the 14 hours of live stream we're going to do, we will crisscross the country from here to Seattle and back and all kinds of places. And we're going to do everything from visiting the legends of the industry to doing things like machining a block.
Yes.
This block has significance. This isn't just any old block. So Joe, tell us a little bit, because this year, it's personal. This year, it's personal.
That's exactly right. And I want everybody to know out there that I'm freaked out a little bit. Being involved with this group of just celebrity engine builders, right? The highest level of the highest level has been an amazing learning experience for me. But when this guy said, hey, Joe, don't you have an old Pontiac engine in your garage that you want to do? It's like, yeah, we'd like to bring it back to life and showcase some technology. I thought, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so Gary Stinnett decided to do the engine. We shipped it out to him. We dyno tested the thing. It was great. But then he revealed that the block...
Don't go give it away yet.
Okay, well...
No spoilers.
Okay, the point is this. We've moved forward. But where did it all start? How did this thing start? Racing is about high performance, and it's about fun, but really, it's about relationships and family.
Absolutely.
And it started that way for me with my dad at Moroso Motorsports Park, Palm Beach International Raceway in South Florida, way back in 1992. A local television production company wanted to follow some local bracket racers, dads and sons, racing together to see what it was all about.
Yeah.
And they followed me. And so this was the very beginning of Project Pontiac.
Oh.
Check it out.
Whoever I'm racing, I kind of look at them, you know, get a mental set. That's who I want to be. Each round, you got to run someone different. Like him, for instance.
I just know I have to do it just a certain job, you know. So I'm only on the track for 9 seconds.
Last year was really his first competition, and it's evolved to this in 1 year. They just called us for first round time runs.
I find that I miss racing myself a lot. I've given it up so that my son can race, but every time we come here I get the bug.
You're doing things together. This is what all parents and kids, I think, really dream about, is being able to work together.
The first runs I made were hectic runs. You're like, let go of the button. Shit. Oh, drive. Okay, scoreboard. Went up. Helmet off. It's a hectic thing at first. Then you get used to it. It was a lot of fun.
He beat me by 15,000.
15,000 over a second.
Separate sticks and beans. I was rooting for him so bad. I was rooting, screaming.
Well, Joe, looks like we have a problem.
Man, that is so cool. I mean, I feel the emotion right now, you know, because obviously my dad and I have been able to go race together. To see you and your dad to have that moment at the racetrack, winning, dude, that's what this is all about, man.
Well, it really is, but you don't know in that moment. Like, I wish I could go back to that moment and get out of the car and tackle my dad and give him a big hug. He's still with us, fortunately, and that's what we're trying to do now. Mm-hmm. The idea, it's so hard to win any kind of race, any kind of series, at any point,
right,
that a TV production crew for local PBS, whatever, they came out, they followed us, and I won the race. I can't even believe it to this day. And boy, I look, you know, what happened? What happened? I was young, I was thin, a little awkward, don't get me wrong, 19 years old right there, I think, but that's where it started. And that spark ignited through my broadcast career and working at the National Hot Rod Association and now doing Engine Performance Expo and working with you guys at Total Seal. And now we're bringing it back.
Exactly. Resurrection Project Pontiac. One, your car's pretty freaking cool, man. That's a good-looking car.
Thank you. Purchased brand new in 1978, JM Pontiac, Hollywood, Florida. That is a one-owner car. So it is a family heirloom. It's been in the garage for over 20 years, just kind of like not working out, but this is the resurrection. And we're bringing it back, and thank you to everyone who's been helping out. And we're on this journey now. And as tends to happen with many journeys, this one is getting out of control, and it is already off track. But we're bringing it back. And it is just so exciting. And the people that have been following Project Pontiac on my WFO radio podcast, live stream, they're more interested in this, like personal stuff. I don't normally talk about me. I'm always talking to someone else, interview someone else. And so it's been a very special thing so far.
Well, what I love about this is it's that put up or shut up nature of what we're talking about. Are we going to be here for the 5th time yapping about stuff? Where's the proof in the pudding? It's great to have the big names and celebrities and everything, but what does that mean to you? Can you realize and actualize the things we talk about here on the Expo? Can it actually translate to you, the viewer? Can you put it into place? And we're putting it in place for you. So we're saying, hey, you're just like the people that watch. Can we take this technology and put it into play? I mean, obviously the great thing is with Gary, yeah, the engine ran, but the block was broken.
Yes.
There's a lesson there, by the way.
Multiple.
We can really rabbit trail on that one just for a second, that just because an engine runs doesn't mean everything's great. You know, you call the guy who got a C in medical school? Doctor. You know, it's like, so you can go better than just what works. We want to reach for the best. If you want to try for perfection, for, you know, ideal scenarios, you got to do a little bit more. Obviously, the engine was running.
Well, we did the dyno test, sent it to Gary, did the dyno test. The whole plan, we were just going to ring it, hone it.
Yeah.
As it was. Mm-hmm. And then discover it made 603 horsepower, which I thought was a good number after sitting for 20 years.
Yeah.
And for the Pontiac people out there, you have to remember, at the time that engine was built, there was no aftermarket block option. There was no Edelbrock aluminum cylinder head. There was literally the Doug Nash Warrior intake was available.
That's it.
And that's pretty much it. And so to make over 600 with pretty much all stuck, we have a cast crank, guys.
Yeah.
Done by Nunzi, by the way. Ground and chromed
Nice.
and all kinds of good stuff. But now everything is available. There are choices and options and things to do. And people are making a lot of horsepower with Pontiacs. Pontiacs have come back into flavor. You can go bigger than 468 cubic inches now, something you couldn't do back then, with all the technology that we've been showcasing on the show. So it's exciting, it's interesting, it's an all-star cast of people that are helping me, which I'm genuinely struggling dealing with that, but don't worry, I will to try to get this thing on the track, and with a defined goal of running NHRA Super Street at the NHRA divisional level. This is not just to build a car, this is to go compete with.
Right.
And since I'm an NHRA track announcer and part of their crew on NHRA on Fox, I think it will be better for me to experience what the drivers that I'm talking about experience, the pressure and the intensity of competition, even at the NHRA divisional level. So that is the goal, to get Project Pontiac on track NHRA Southeastern Division 2 racing in 2025.
All right, so next year you're going to hit the racetrack with it.
In theory, that's
the plan. It gives us this year to get that engine together. So we started off, we were back there at the Rottler F69 because that block was basically brand new.
Yes.
And there's a lot of work that was going to be being done to that block today and tomorrow. So right now, you've got Jolie
Woods on it.
Right,
she's on it.
Dave Dominator's daughter. Yep. She's back there working with Dave Bullock on the F69, and they are going to deck it. They're going to do a line bore, and because of the cam on it, they're basically going to do a cam line bore as well. So they got a lot of block work to do on the F69. We'll come back and check with them later today to see how they're doing, because lifter bores and stuff, they all had to be worked on a little bit.
The casting is much better, but everything has got to go through a process to make it perfect, and that's what we're going to try to do.
Got to get the right geometry, so that's what they're working on. And speaking of getting the block work right and father-son projects, you know, last year we had Dennis Borum up here, and we were talking about my dad's project, where we took my dad's old engine and pulled it out and freshened it up and put it back in the car and went to the racetrack, and we'll show more of that later today and tomorrow. But, you know, we had 2 engines, not just one. And so I played around with the second engine.
Of course.
And we tried a little bit more, and I pushed a little bit too hard. So watch this video, and we'll show you what we did. Have you ever hurt just one cylinder? I mean, that's such a pain in the butt, right? Because you hurt one, what are your options? I mean, you don't really want to have to go 5 over and order brand new pistons if you only hurt one cylinder. So that's what we're going to try to do, because we scuffed one cylinder here pretty bad. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to see if we can't clean this up in less than 5 thousandths. That way, we can actually reuse the other pistons, replace the one piston that's been scuffed. Then what we're going to do is use line-to-line skirt coating on all the pistons to bring back our piston to wall clearance. That way, we're saving the money of not having to buy new pistons, not having to hopefully wait as long, because hopefully they can get 1 done faster than they can get 8 done. But the idea is, let's try to save as much material in the block as possible. So if we only have to go maybe a couple of thousandths to save this one hole, then we can go a couple of thousandths over on all the others, use a line-to-line skirt coating to make up that couple of thousandths, then we're back good again. So let's see. So the first step in this process is we've got aluminum in the cylinder wall. So to make it where we're not pushing that aluminum in with the hone, so it has to go further and further and further, we're going to use an old trick. We're going to use like Drano liquid plumber type products, along with a little bit of Scotch Bright and some elbow grease. And we're going to work in here and see if we can't get that aluminum out of the cylinder. That way when we go put it in the hone, we're not moving all that aluminum around trying to clean it up. We're just going to be cleaning up the iron. So hopefully that's going to save us a little bit, because if we can only go 1 thousandths or 2 over, man, we're going to be in good shape. It's going to be pretty nice. So let's get started. Fortunately, we have our USB microscope that lets us look in, and we can use the hatch view crosshatch angle program. Now, here's the neat thing. We can go in there and turn the crosshatch angle off, because we don't need that. And then we can actually see right here is a big piece of aluminum. You can see down at the bottom where it's iron and it's darker color. This is nice and shiny. That's the aluminum. So let's see with our liquid plumber and our Scotch Bright if we can get that aluminum out and clean this bore up a little bit easier. First step, gotta get the old good liquid plumber. Now, the key thing to be smart here, you definitely want to put on some gloves, because you don't want to burn yourself. Regular lye is actually better than liquid plumber, but liquid plumber is easier to get. But if you can get some lye, that's the way to go. So what we're going to do is put our gloves on here. There is definitely aluminum visible in the bore right now. We're going to pour some of this down the hole here. This is pretty liquid, so what we're going to do is we're going to put some of this directly on the Scotch Bright pad. And then we're going to apply a little bit of elbow grease here and see if we can't get that aluminum out of the bore. Looks like it was actually worse at the bottom of the bore than the top of the bore. Okay, so we've been using some elbow grease, and we've actually seen really good progress on how much of the aluminum is actually gone from the cylinder. I want to show you right here. You can probably see there's a couple little shiny silver spots down there at the very bottom of the bore. What we're going to do now is we're going to use the microscope, and we're going to go down there and we're going to look around to make sure, see how big that area is. That way we can make sure when we put it in the home that there's no aluminum left in the bore. So far, made some progress. Let's see what the microscope tells us. So it looks like there were some rust pits on this block previously. Looks like the aluminum has found one of those rust pits and embedded itself in there. So maybe a little more elbow grease and we can clean that baby up, but it definitely found a little hole in there. Fortunately, it's towards the very bottom of the bore, but that's also where this problem looks like where it got started too. Maybe because of those rust pits. Man, check that out. That, you gotta love it when a plan comes together.
There.
Yeah.
You found him.
Yeah.
I don't know which one that is, but that's definitely what you were working on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's dark. It's not shiny.
Yep.
So that's a good sign.
Okay, so that was super cool. You know, I learned this trick from my dad because as a karter racing 2 cycles, piston scuffing was something happening at the racetrack all the time. So they would have to hand hone the track. And so somehow, many years ago, someone figured out you could use muriatic acid or lye or something to help clean up the aluminum so you could clean it back up and hone it at the racetrack and carry on and not scuff it again. Because if you leave any aluminum in there, guess what? It's going to grab the piston again. That's not a good thing. So here we did. We got it. A little bit of Scotch Bright, a little bit of liquid plumber, and now the aluminum's gone. So now we got to put it in the hone and get it honed back right. And let's see how much it takes to clean it up. Okay, so thanks to the guys at Rottler, Embry, all the guys at CNC Blockworks, they let us borrow the hone, and we were able to get it cleaned up. 3 thousandths over, got it all cleaned up, and then Kenny at Tennessee Abrasives got us these really cool Scotch Bright abrasives. So we could have honed it like we did before, but we didn't because we wanted to use the Scotch Brights. And it is a beautiful trace. It knocks all those peaks down. It's super smooth and flat on top. Still got the valleys underneath. I think it's actually better than before, so I'm kind of actually glad we scuffed it and hurt it, because now we're going to be able to go get the pistons, get the 3 new pistons coming, and then we're going to be able to put the line-to-line coating. We're going to put 5 thousandths clearance, skirt coating clearance on all the pistons. Then it will self-fit itself, so it might actually be better than it was before, because that line-to-line will let it fit in a little bit better. So we were able to go 3 thou over, save 5 pistons, line to line, put it together. Stay tuned, because when we go to the dyno, I have an expectation. I'm not going to tell you what it is right now, but I have a number in my mind. We're going to try to make it, so stay tuned.
What a day, what a day, what a day. Yeah, my brain is swollen. I've learned so much today.
They told us, don't start cars. We are not going to listen.